MakingStarWars.net.
Hey, YouTube.com. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.com. How's it going? That's
I don't know, man.
Central Perk.
Don't really have anything to talk about today.
Nope, we didn't put out a story today. We didn't do that.
Bored.
But yeah.
Watch the first 2 episodes of the Ms. Marvel series.
Is it good?
Marvel.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed. My wife loved it. I enjoyed it. You know,
Okay.
It's definitely smaller scale. You know, it's like a TV version of Homecoming. If I had to like Spider-Man Homecoming, a little bit of that. Yeah,
Right.
but enjoyable. Yeah.
Okay. I
Don't
still
see what
haven't
all the
finished
hate
Moon
was
Knight.
about.
I still haven't finished Moon Knight.
I don't think this universe is your thing. So you know,
Yeah.
you probably would care less.
I like Loki.
Everyone likes Loki.
I like Loki. I like WandaVision.
Sent you some pics of them filming Loki season 2.
I saw that
And
at McDonald's.
At the 70s McDonald's, Jason. The 70s McDonald's.
Depending on where you live, that might be your today McDonald's.
Well, I was telling you, for up until like 2001 or so, in Grossmont in San Diego, they had a Burger King that they had not changed since the 70s.
Right.
And it was right near the mall, and they wouldn't even do refills. Like, they kept all the rules from the 70s, but it had all the orange and the plants and the wood and the stained glass, and I mean the wood cut Burger King sign, all that shit, man.
That's the one thing that COVID took from us at McDonald's is refills. At least in my area. No more refills. But it's only $1 for the drink, so can't really.
I just love that aesthetic. Like, did you ever see that movie The Box?
No, was that a porno or what is that?
No, it's with James Franco, I think, and Kirsten Dunst, where they get a box from Frank Langella, and if you hit a button, you can make a wish or whatever. It's one of those kind of Twilight Zone-y movies.
Okay.
I know, but it was set in the 70s, and the art direction, my man,
yeah,
like it's everything our parents ever owned.
Oh, okay.
You're like, like it's
Yeah, I kind of want like a brown plaidish kind of couch. Remember those? Like those couches, they were like almost, I don't know if it was plaid, but it was like brown. And it was like different browns. I don't know, it's freaking comfortable to me. Something about it.
Yeah, tiny though. Like, we're much larger than people were in the 70s.
Yeah, we're fat.
We are. We're so. I mean, the hormones hit me so young. I outgrew all my parents' furniture by like age 9. It was ridiculous.
So this has been a developing story for us. Darth Vader will return in Star Wars Ahsoka. So if you remember a few months ago, we had a little story on this, and here's the article that I wrote today. I don't want to wear my glasses. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see what's going to happen.
Just strain your eyes, Jason. That's what I do.
Here. Mac power, activate, zoom in, enhance. Sources have informed me that Tom O'Connell is being fitted for a new Darth Vader suit for the Star Wars Ahsoka Disney Plus series.
Any relation to Jerry O'Connell?
I had that joke in my head 5 times today. When I was like looking at pictures of him. I kept seeing sliders and stuff. I was trying to see if there was any other pictures of him.
My sources, identity.
Beetlejuice friend of Beetlejuice is how I know him. Sources working on Ahsoka have confirmed Darth Vader will have a significant sequence in the story. It is believed the role of the fully suited Darth Vader will exclusively be played by Tom O'Connell this time. This cool guy.
That guy.
He looks cool, you know. I drink a Coors Light with him right there, talking about, you know, what's it like being Darth Vader, and he'd be like, "Shut up, nerd."
David Prowse never did that with the crow makeup and the Red Bulls,
right?
That's right.
He was too busy leaking. The Darth Vader suit for the Star Wars Ahsoka appears to be different than the one used for Obi-Wan Kenobi last year. Sources just said they made some changes to reflect the time frame in which the sequence takes place. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess it will not be 100% a suit we have seen before. So I don't know for certain, but
might have a couple different blinking lights.
No, exactly. Well, you know, every Star Wars movie has a drastically different Star Wars Darth Vader suit. The
drastically different?
Yeah, very, very much different. Different, like total different pads. The mask is different. Sometimes they have a widow's peak. Sometimes they don't. All kinds of there's big differences between them actually. in terms of people who get mad at the Grand Inquisitor not looking like a cartoon, I'm going to say they're significant enough. But also look at Darth Vader in the Ahsoka series. Look at Darth Vader in the Ahsoka series, and then look at Darth Vader in the films, and then look at the Grand Inquisitor and the Grand Inquisitor in live action. You're like, oh, okay. Same thing with Cad Bane. For what it's worth, I don't
think it's the same thing, Jason. But all right.
Oh, I think you need to go look up Star Wars Rebels Darth Vader right now, because I don't think
he looks like the Macquarie production art. I get it.
Yeah, so we're gonna get mad that
it
doesn't look like that.
But we already knew what Vader looked like in live action before that, and we knew what those
chicken or the egg, Rob.
Doing it. No, it's
chicken or the egg.
Yeah, no.
Yep. There is a logic to what I am saying here.
We are disagreeing today, Jason.
We are. You're gonna get it.
It's almost like we're stuck out in the woods together for a fucking week.
The Darth Vader suit. Okay, so anyways, what I'm trying to say is it's a new suit. I don't really know how close to the Obi-Wan Kenobi suit it's going to be. It's not the Obi-Wan Kenobi suit 100%. So
okay,
just throwing out. There are costumers, just people who are interested in it, and nerds like myself, and so I don't want to set them off in the wrong path, mad, angry, or hopeful. I'm not exactly sure exactly what the differences are for reasons. Okay, let's just say that. Back in February, I wrote a piece about the 3 performers bringing Darth Vader to the screen in Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then in June, I wrote a piece about how the team was being put back together for something else, but I was not entirely sure what. Now, I have it confirmed it is 100% for the Ahsoka series. So there we go. The story evolved.
I'm assuming flashbacks, right?
Well, we'll get there in just a second. Just a second on that one. Unfortunately, it sounds like Dimitris Bistrevsky has not been asked back. There were some public financial disputes between Bistrevsky and Lucasfilm over Obi-Wan Kenobi rehearsals on social media, and that could be a factor. However, the suited Darth Vader will be lightsaber fighting, and that's what Tom O'Connell contributed to Vader last time. So my sources were not 100% sure why Bistrevsky was not asked back, but said he's a great guy to work with.
I can tell you why he wasn't asked back. He kept running around yelling, "I want my $2" to Kathy, and it was ridiculous.
I have a feeling you thought he was David Prowse, and you forgot where you were again, George.
He's not.
No, he's a completely different dude. He's like
I'm being facetious. We know that because we keep track, and he only gave out 79 spoilers and process.
Did George just say facetious? Now there's going to be a Darth facetious, isn't there?
Well, actually, that was in my script to episode 11.
Is he a trickster Sith?
I can't let him start rambling about episode 11, Jason. You know?
Episode 11.
The last time we did that, the show went on 5 hours.
We know Hayden Christensen is back for the Ahsoka series. That leads me to think there's a chance we are seeing Ahsoka and Darth Vader's duel from Star Wars Rebels recreated in live action. That duel has Ahsoka, Darth Vader, and Ezra Bridger in a sequence that could be used to explain the relationships between the players in this story who need to be reintroduced in live action. But such a retelling is conjecture on my part, as it has not been confirmed the sequence is in fact being recreated. But in that fight, Vader's mask is cracked, and it would explain Hayden Christensen returning to some extent as well. And then I go on to say, it might be a little weird doing the cracked Vader helmet thing twice in a year. However, Rebels did it first. It is part of Ahsoka seeing Anakin in the machine. I think if they show and don't tell, you likely need that moment. It sits okay with me if Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and Luke are the ones who saw behind the mask.
Jason, given their liberal use of Bacta, I think they're gonna have no problem. Just
they get things on the brain sometimes, don't they?
Yeah.
But once again, I think in the end is just actual inconvenient timing for when things went into production. You know, like you had to do that Vader scene, that mask breaking moment. And then it happened in Rebels, and then now they're having to explain who these people are. So I do think it is just sort of in this instance unfortunate. But if they do it a third time, I give up. Tom O'Connell.
Jason, do you think that given they were unwilling to use de-aging on Kenobi, that they'll just use a Snapchat filter with the rebels' faces on this one? Like, do you
Maybe.
think?
And they only do like once, like everybody's General Riken.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So everybody
yeah.
looks like General
But then they
Riken.
capture it all in the volume, and it all works out in real time. So it's really special.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, so when it comes to this whole thing, like once again, I don't like, yeah, I don't know what's up with the other guy, with the other Darth Vader. I tried to DM him on Instagram, but didn't get a response. I could understand why. And hopefully, hopefully it's not how it sounds. But I only included that bit about the dispute because I think that's where people are going to go to and start reading between the lines on it. And so that's why I asked some people who worked with them, that guy sucked, that guy cool. Everybody said he was cool. You know what I mean? Everybody said he was good to work with. So yeah, hopefully, hopefully it's only because Darth Vader's just fighting in these moments. There might not be any Darth Vader, standing around. Nikki says, I can't stay, but make sure everyone lets Jason know his opinions are wrong. All right. Anyways.
Jason's stealing my move from yesterday's show. It's a good move, Jason. You can have that one.
my drummer's daughter started playing t-ball, and she's playing third base, and this kid got to third base, and she looks at the kid and she did that to him, and it was great. It was great.
I'm surprised they've never done that move in a Star Wars movie.
I know we
got that
a lot, but
we never got that, or the UU, right?
Right,
the same one, but like, right.
My hope for the Ahsoka series, though, in Hayden, is that they do something with the Hayden ghost and Ahsoka on the back end of it. Because, if we start the series off with Ahsoka explaining to the audience, to the live action only audience, that she used to be, Anakin's Padawan. You saw her in Mando, but why is she important to everything else to such a degree? And they kind of explained it a little bit in Mando, or sorry, in Book of Boba Fett, where she's looking at Luke and seeing that he's the son of Anakin. And like those moments are good, but I don't know if those moments really will stick with your average person about why she's important, and also how does Ezra Bridger play into this? And like there's a degree of separation in a way. Ezra does go up against Darth Vader poorly, but you do have like Ahsoka as being the one who kind of connects these people, and I think that might be kind of important. But also the atonement for Ahsoka in this series could be good too. But the question is, if Anakin and Ahsoka have atonement in this, does that atone Ahsoka with the Jedi? Because that could have interesting ramifications too. You know what I mean? Like, will Ahsoka go become one of Luke's Jedi? Because the thing to remember is, like, I always make jokes about how Kylo Ren's going to kill everybody, which is true. But also, I think it's important to remember that you have about 35 years worth of, or 30-ish years of Jedi storytelling to tell. The Clone Wars were 3 years. Look at all of that. In that 3 years, we got 30 years. They can give Ahsoka the most epic of Star Wars stories ever in the whole entire thing. And it doesn't matter what happens after, 30 years later.
It's breaking my head thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, it's just, you have 35 years of Jedi stories, and the fucking movies don't even deal with it. Like, it's just all these ideas. And
George, you bookended it, George. You bookended it.
Yeah, but as the cartoons and the video games and the comic books and the audio novels and that Shadows of the Empire CD clearly state, you can just keep doing this over and over, Jason. Whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't have it. Oh yeah, I do have it. I'm not.
Piece. You know, like to be fair, it's a visually stunning show. Like
Hey, fair enough.
I could see his
Good on
drive.
them. Well, I'm trying to, yeah, not a big meme guy
Do,
overall. Can't lie,
do
but
you think
today we'd be Rob, we're talking. This right here is pertinent to that. This stupid meme.
the loading? There we
The
go.
loading, yeah.
Yeah.
You fought
Yeah.
in the Clone Wars? Yes, I was once a cartoon character, same as your father.
Yeah. That's why I wondered too. Like, you think they'd make the dick move of casting Hayden, but then deep faking Sebastian Shaw over Hayden's face?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then everyone goes, "Why does he look like Uncle Fester or the Grand Inquisitor?" Like, and I'm like, "What happened?" Like, everyone's confused.
Yeah, I
wonder.
wish George would just cut out Sebastian. Just redo it. Just fucking put Hayden in the whole thing. You know, people could go watch the old original one if they want to see him with his glorious eyebrows, and
They can
it would
deep fake that
exist.
now, right? Like,
Eh,
pretty much. You think?
I don't know. I mean, with that Darth Vader suit, he's pretty static because he's laying down. I think you could
Right.
probably. I mean, I'm not a visual effects, ILM person,
Dolly
so
2
they
can
would
do
know.
it.
Dolly
Dolly
2 is
2 is
like,
pretty. Dolly 2 is pretty good. I want to play with that fucking thing. Like, it won't.
yeah,
I put on the beta a long time ago, so I haven't got in.
okay, yeah. I need to sign up for it too because it's fun.
Yeah, maybe because you're they'll look you up and like, ooh, he's got a check mark. They'll give it to you.
Yeah. All those blue check marks with their stupid Star Wars opinions, and then they get a blue check mark, and then it's fine. That happens a lot. But yeah. So, anyways, back to the whole like Ahsoka thing with that. It's I'm curious if that ends up opening up like there being a bigger story as this goes on, because originally I had heard that Ahsoka was a limited series, and now it's not. Now that it's supposed to continue. I think they'll probably be real quiet about it to some extent, and if the series doesn't connect, which they know it will, but if it doesn't, then they just won't make more. They'll just start sidelining it
But
into
they'll
Mando
brag
once
about
again.
the fucking numbers, right, Jason? Aren't they?
Yeah,
They will. They will.
I mean, you could. I mean, success and failure isn't entirely all or nothing. You could have a successful show and a creative failure at the same time, and I think we've seen that before. That's
bit.
the thing. A little bit.
It's not our first rodeo. We've been paying attention for a while.
Right. Yeah. We kinda. I mean, a little bit. Here we go. Okay. Then there was an EW piece. I haven't even got to read it yet because I was down at Manhattan and all that stuff this morning and didn't get to. So we're gonna read it together for the first time. This shit might be stupid. Ooh. This shit might be intriguing. I don't know.
Probably will be stupid then.
Diego Luna on returning for Andor. I had so much more to say and to do with this role. So it's pretty much what he said before. EW sat down with Luna, Genevieve O'Reilly, and executive producer Wallenberg. Saying what is it? SANNE? Is that Sane or Sane? Sane? I don't know. Sane.
I'm
Wallenberg.
a pictures guy, Jason. I would the wrong.
Yeah.
You should be asking Meg.
I never learned how to read. So, talk about details about their Star Wars spy thriller. Diego Luna assumed his time in the Star Wars universe would be brief. Rogue One introduced Luna's charming spy Cassian Andor, who teams up with his fellow rebels to pilfer the Death Star plans. But the 2016 film's ending didn't exactly leave room for a sequel. It's hard to write a follow-up when all your main characters die at the end. Oh, and this was written by Devon Kogan. I can't say anybody's name. Blah, 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 blah. Now Cassian Andor is stepping into the spotlight again with Luna starting the prequel series that will debut on August 31st, created by longtime Bourne writer Tony Gilroy, who also worked on Rogue One. This 2-season show will follow Cassian as he takes his first steps towards rebellion. EW sat down with Luna. God, you already said that. Behind everyone Okay, so behind everyone that has brought change, there's a story, there's a reason, Luna teases. And I just love that we now have 12 episodes to tell you that story. Yeah, I keep wondering if like if Arjona's character is his sister or like his girlfriend, you know what I mean, or his wife, something like that. Because I definitely think that's gonna have something to do with.
Maybe she just sells Star Wars Amway, though. You know, she's always
She's
telling them to get like a better deal on detergent. You know, it's just one scoop. You know, instead of like 4. Like, all right, okay.
So this is the Princess of Alderán's shampoo, and you can unscrew the head and put it on your head and wash your hair. All right. While shooting Rogue One, Luna says that he often found himself wondering about Cassian's past. So he jumped at the chance to reprise the character for Andor.
Sometimes I sit on the toilet and I wonder about his past. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to know that, but it's true.
What was Cassian doing at 6 years old? He's been fighting since he was 6 years old.
I went to Boomers and I was thinking in line, what does Cassian do with his past? And then the people from like, get on the fucking go-kart, dude. Get on the go-kart.
I remember living every day as if it was the last, the actor says, of filming Rogue One. I mean, I never thought of being part of this universe at all. I was just a fan. And one day I got a call. I thought I was going to be a one-time thing in my life. I shared it with my kids, and I saw it. I was ready to move on. And then I was invited to return to the show, and it made complete sense. I had so much more to say to do with this role. I just wanted to explore many things that I thought about while I was shooting that a film would never allow you to explore.
I thought that was going to be the Pete Davidson of the Star Wars universe. Just a brief kiss in the night. Gone by morning. Kind of talks like Triumph the dog, that dude. It's true.
Another key Andor player is OReilly's Mon Mothma, whose character who begins the show as a politician in the Imperial Senate. The stoic senator and future rebel leader has popped up many times throughout the Star Wars story. Caroline Blackenston originated the role in 1983's Return of the Jedi, with O'Reilly stepping in for 2005's Revenge of the Sith. Since then, O'Reilly has appeared in Rogue One and voiced the character on Star Wars Rebels. The idea of learning about this character for me, as much as for anyone else, through a long-form narrative was really interesting. O'Reilly explains, we have now the chance to get to know the woman. Previously, she was a bit of a pillar or maybe a statue. I love that now we get to excavate that a little bit and learn about the human being, the woman behind the gown, if you will. The woman who loves, the woman who needs to be loved. Yeah. The woman who danced before the Imperial Senate.
You know, Jason, originally it was going to be Mon Mothersbaugh, but he wouldn't show up in a gown. I tried.
Give her a little Devo hat.
I tried so hard. But
I heard you wanted to copyright Devo's energy domes, and they were like, no, and you were like, get the fuck off my set.
Well, if we'd gotten it, we would have been able to trademark the red hat thing way early and prevent a whole slew of problems. But yeah,
the series will begin 5 years after the events of Rogue One. Sorry, begins also, 5 years before the events of Rogue One.
Jason, before Star Trek's coming back on. Her name was inspired by Mothma. I just want you to know, please.
Okay, got you, George.
Just it's true. He loves Moth.
Fine. I don't believe anything you say, George.
I heard Kurtz was more of a fuck. I don't remember what's the turtle who flies? The turtle with the rocket feet. Come on,
what the fuck are you talking about? It was on
like over a half of the Mystery Science Theater 3000s. Gojira? No, Gojira.
You're not.
You're the turtle with the rocket feet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna Godzilla.
Gamera. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Gamorreans, Gamorreans, Mothma, what?
Klaatu, Barata, Nikto. I mean, you know, yeah, everything is just a callback. Every name was pretty much a callback joke. The series begins about 5 years before the events of Rogue One, and Wahlberg teases that the first 12 episodes will chart the formative years of the rebellion, exploring how dark circumstances can provide a real opportunity to be daring and brave.
Yeah.
A second season is already scheduled to film this fall. And
Unless
Luna
you're a
adds
cop and you work at a fucking elementary school, it's an opportunity to
Oh.
sit on your phone and watch horrific things happen.
It's almost like cops are afraid of AR-15s and they shouldn't be legal. A second, or whatever the fuck they're called, a second season is already scheduled to film this fall. And Luna adds that although fans may know how Cassian's story ends, there will be plenty of surprises along the way. Even though it's called Andor, it's about a revolution, Luna explains. It's an ensemble. So that's important, guys, because every time they have a name in a Star Wars, they go, it was supposed to be about Andor. I wanted my Obi-Wan Kenobi only. So, like all Star Wars, it's a fucking
Obi-Wan
ensemble.
Kenobi only. Right.
Obi-Wan Kenobi only. That's a new Italian dish I made up. That's not really Italian at all.
I totally agree. I want to call it Andor and Friends, but they wouldn't let me do it. Sorry.
It's about a group of people. It's about community. You have a chance to meet many characters you don't know and visit places you don't know existed in this galaxy. Whoa there, Luna. I keep hearing that every character I've ever known is in this series. You sure about that? You read Reddit? Sounds like bullshit to me.
Sorry, Sam. That's how I play Tetris.
Click.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, yeah. So you know, that was pretty much a fluff piece, just reminding everybody, hey, it's coming. It's a thing. Hopefully they're getting that shit out of the way. Yeah, we are. Well, we got about 45 days to go. 45 big ones. So my guess is in the next 2 weeks we get the trailer. That's my guess. That's not like a source thing or anything. Just the fact that there should be a trailer around a month before. Wouldn't be surprised if it was around the first of the month, though. So that way, new periodicals that are hitting stands and stuff like that, the monthly magazines will probably have their coverage begin then, because the fact that it starts on the 31st kind of means they either have the coverage hit the day after the show starts, which could work, and then get everybody like on who who hasn't done it, but I think they may start a month before.
You think Spreezy wants to make another bet about the amount of trailers we're gonna get?
Yes.
Mate, it's only one, and then they release another trailer like hours before the series drops. And he still doesn't own up to his Taco Bells.
Still hasn't Taco Bell'd it. He's in Greece right now. During the show when we were like setting up, he texted me and said he's in Greece. So
I'm in Greece. Maybe he just means the movie. You know, like he's. Like,
you think he's in a musical?
Yeah, he's in fit. He's in fit shape. He could play the Travolta role, right?
Sure.
Right. He's got the hair. He's got the I'm telling you, put that guy in a coat.
I could see it.
Yeah. I can't sing any songs. My buddy knows all the lyrics to that. It's disturbing.
Yeah, never got it. Don't understand it. The whole Grease thing makes no sense to me. And if you just like, I don't know, young people in greaser outfits. I mean, what about the outsiders? I'm starting, but anyway, I'm just joking. I know there's a big difference.
Pony boy. I had karate.
So Baymax just got out of the oil bath.
I was waiting for him to do the crane kick as a kid. Well, just do the crane kick. Like, you just solved problem solved. I didn't understand different movie, Jason. I thought they carried the powers over,
Yeah. Oh, everybody like the video and subscribe to the channel and all that jazz. But like the video especially. Thank you.
Smash that like button like Pete Davidson. Well, I'm not going to go there.
No. Oh yeah, what was that podcast that you had me listen to with
soundtracking with Edith Bowman?
Yeah, listen to that
soundtrack.
I listened to that in my travels today when I was leaving Manhattan.
What was the significance of you listening to that?
Well, Natalie Holt, she did this soundtrack where she purposely refused to play the John Williams music because it wasn't as good as hers. That's what I read on Reddit. On a forum.
Imagine like those people that block traffic to protest, like, hey, it's peaceful. But like she's blocking John Williams from getting into the room. She's like, no,
yeah,
no. Yeah.
Have you all heard of Bofa D's? Like Bofa
Nuts.
D's nuts?
Cute.
Yeah, so anyways, yeah, Natalie Holt did an interview, and I think it was pretty good. The interviewer is very into the score. Obviously the person is very into soundtracks and scores.
Edith's great.
Edith, yeah, yeah, no, I'm saying it wasn't, there was no hard ass questions or anything like that. They were very much
No,
into it.
it's an easy
But
show with her.
yeah, and but I honestly don't. I'm of the opinion that I think Natalie Holt is getting a raw deal by a lot of the Star Wars community when they put it on her, whatever their complaint happens to be. I think if this existed in a vacuum, I think she wrote a very good score. Like if there was no other Star Wars stuff to compare anything to, and this show just came out by itself, and you learn that there was a reason, and the reason that was that they were told she was told that she couldn't use the Kenobi, or she couldn't use the classic John Williams music in it because John Williams has to give approval, and he had it, and they had to start. And it sounds, and then one thing that they do in that interview that I am going to be a bit tinfoil hat about is they say, or she says, like, yeah, and then Williams came aboard, and then Williams and his boy went in and added the John Williams moments throughout it where they thought it was okay and appropriate. And I got a feeling that, they also say that they couldn't use the music for Rogue One, that Williams didn't consent to his music.
Yeah,
being
she
used in Rogue One.
specifically says that. Not they. Natalie Holt said that.
And so there's definitely something weird here, because I don't know if it's just a professional courtesy out of respect, and it's like, John, do you care? And then he has to say, I don't care, or he does care. But like Sam points out, weird, the Star Wars audiobooks can use Williams music, but he wouldn't sign off on a Kenobi show. Also weird that Star Wars Rebels
read or listen to books, so
but Star Wars Rebels uses Williams music out the ass, the fanfares and stuff like that, all over the place. Star Wars: The Clone Wars could have used it, and Lucas said he didn't want to. He wanted them to make cultural music for every planet and every location, and then he started to sort of relax on that a little bit, and then said you only use it when it's special and that kind of thing. And maybe when George Lucas wants to use it, Williams just says, hey, if George says it's good, it's good. Maybe they had that kind of thing. But it's kind of hard to imagine John Williams having that kind of control. Not saying he's not the one guy who could in the whole world, because he is. But at the same time, but the Star Wars franchise just not having control over its own destiny in any way it wants, for right or wrong. Something I kind of like go about at times. And so I'm not really sure what to make of that. And I try to contextualize Rogue One. Rogue One was coming in between John Williams doing two films. John Williams was doing The Force Awakens, then Rogue One, then The Last Jedi. So John Williams would actually have creative reasons for just not wanting his shit being fucked with at that time. Like, don't touch my stuff. I don't want to feel like I shouldn't use something here because you used it there. I don't want my stuff to feel cheaper when I use it next year. Like, I think there could have been creative reasons why he was like, don't do it. No, do it. If I'm not doing it, you do it. Like, that might be the reason that happened. It's all conjecture. Once again, we don't really know what the reasoning is, but it wasn't until, and Natalie Holt only had 3 months. And that was the other thing, is there was one line that she said that someone else was brought in, and then there was a scheduling conflict, and it was supposed to come out on May 4th and all that shit. Yeah.
I wanted to say, just, you didn't finish the sentence. So she apparently only had 3 months to make the Kenobi score, as opposed to, say, a year on Loki or whatever was the difference between those two. So she felt Loki was more like a film in that, because you got a year on a film to work out they bring you and you have discussions, generally speaking, not crazy redos and shit. Like Rogue One, that dude had 3 fucking weeks, man. Like, But generally speaking, you bring the composer in about a year in, they have discussions, and that composer goes off and shirks responsibility.
Yeah.
Plays Nintendo and Fall Guys and Fortnite and doesn't do shit. But develops the themes for a while, and this was more of a 3-month deal. And Giacchino he conjured that up in 3 weeks. It wasn't 3 months. Like, it was literally
that wasn't writing and recording. No, that was writing.
Right. It was just writing all the stuff. Like,
It was supposed to be. I actually had the scoop on this. Alexandre Desplat, whatever his name was. Desplat, and he is not involved. And then I did the story, and then people said, "Hey, they're saying you're not involved." He's like, "I am involved," and then he wasn't.
His name was the inspiration for our logo. Desplat.
Oh, the splat.
Yeah.
That's our Desplat. So, but I think, I in a weird way, I hate to say it, but I feel like John Williams coming in, and then those little tiny moments being there, kind of fucks her score over in a way, because then it's just like, well, why couldn't she just do, like, why couldn't she do it the whole time? Like, if you're doing it, why can't Yeah. I do agree with the Imperial March moment though in there. I have to say, I mean, it's everything is not, there is no real true consistency now, because there was a time when they were debating putting the Imperial March in A New Hope, and then they decided to, like, save it for Empire to make it special in that moment. And when Darth Vader is actually, like, actualized in this one, we see Darth Vader actualized at the end. He is truly Darth Vader. He has totally gone, complete Team Palpatine. He's on the Palpatine entirely at this point.
The fucking internet was the way it is now back then, man. Like, we'd be hearing that every fucking, I want Team Palpatine. Palpatine. Yeah, I know, that bullshit.
So I do like it in that moment. Me and Rob were having a heated discussion about its use in Attack of the Clones before.
Jason says it was barely in there. Then he said 3 bars and then 5 bars. Then we played it, and it plays the whole fucking theme.
No,
and
it
he's
plays.
Like, see? And I'm like, yeah, see? Like, we're like,
it does one
full.
It does the melody, the full melody.
It does the full thing, bro. Like, it's there. Like, if I took a person,
no, it doesn't do the full thing.
Regular person,
no, back it up.
It splits it. It starts, finishes.
It doesn't go all the
way.
way.
It plays. No one remembers that part. The average fan go on the street, they go dun 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 dun. Dun. That's it. That's what it plays, and we just DMCA'd our own fucking video. I did, because the algorithm's super fast.
I still think it's completely different in that moment, because you have the Emperor, future leader of the rebellion, on the same balcony, seeing that thing. One's looking at it with lust, if you will. The other one's looking at it like, we're fucked. We're doomed. This is the end. But then they don't, like, go do it again. They don't go and start using the Imperial March liberally after that. Like, they saved it for the one moment of when the Empire is being born.
Like, they're pissing all around the room, just spraying that fucking thing.
Pretty much.
It's in there, man. That's you just did it. You didn't go dun 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 dun. No one. If I say, Jason, I will bet you my fucking house that if we go on the street and tell the average person to hum the Imperial March, not one person will go dun 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 dun. Like, nobody.
I'll go on. I'll start doing man on the street stuff. I'll get COVID to prove you wrong.
People on the street, Jason. Let's be culturally sensitive. Let's be sensitive. People on the street. All right.
Well, I'm a man on the street. I'm not a people on the street.
That's debatable depending on which ex you speak to, but I'm not going to be mean.
Fair enough. That's fair.
I get the same. I had an ex tell another ex once on Facebook when I got kind of famous, right? They were like, he's not really a man. Like, I was like, well, to be fair, I owned a lot of Care Bears. And I listened to the B-52s all the fucking time when I was a kid, man. Like, more and Queen, and I could see why my dad was like,
Just next time, look at him and go, bitch, I'm a rock lobster.
and I was still buying toys. Like my dad, I gotta tell you, my dad had a conversation with me in the 6th grade when I got all the Turtles toys. He's like, you gotta give these up, and I looked at him. I'm like, as soon as you stop bringing strippers home, Dad, like, because I don't. That was your dream. It's the first time I made a crack to my father. I was like, because he would bring strippers home all the fucking time. And I was like, that was your dream. Mine's action figures. Like,
He's like, my son's gonna totally get a love doll. This is the trajectory.
yeah.
But...
Oh well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a wall full of Clerks toys over there, Jason, if you ever want to see
them. Did you see the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin animated fan film short?
It's fine. There's not enough visual effects for it to work for me, but you know, like it's all right. The Last Ronin's a cool story though, Jason. It's Kevin Eastman kept this idea for himself. It's his Dark Knight Returns for the Turtles, you know. I just wish he had illustrated it himself, because his roughs for it are great, and the artist on it, it's a modern artist, it's fine, but I just think the creator can still draw. Why didn't he draw it? You know,
right?
Like, I just don't like seeing anyone else. Let him draw it. I don't care, you know. So it's weird.
Yeah,
but I love the story, man. The story is fucking great.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
cool.
the fan that is. I probably won't read the comic. Maybe
you don't read comics.
I read some comics. Not too much though.
Other than Space Bastards.
You know what? You want to know the honest truth about comic books for me?
Sure.
It's that I don't really truly enjoy reading them digitally as much as I enjoy having them tangibly in my hand. But
Fair.
comic book store guys, the owners, they fucking suck. Like, I'm sure everyone has a cool one in their town or whatever. All the ones that I live, like where I live, I think they just make enough money that they're able to be shitty.
They make enough money in Magic cards that they don't have to be nice to the comic book dudes.
Probably, yeah. That's probably true.
No, I agree. I rarely ever got along with comic book shop owners or people who are buying comics in comic book shops. Even the one I have in town, super nice shop. They're nice, and I'm actually drawing a comic book for a major publisher, and they're not cool with me. They're like, we don't like the comic. I'm like,
yeah.
What is this elitist shit, man? Like, I'm not like in LA. This is a small town, Jason. You would think when the guy who's drawing a comic you currently sell is drawing one, you'd want to be friends with. No, they don't care.
Yeah. I once
buy a coffee.
It closed down not too long after, because no wonder why. But across the street from the place I used to work, there was a comic book store. I would get paid. I got paid under the table at that job. And then I would walk right across the street, fucking pretty much drop my money on Star Wars bullshit, like in the early 2000s. And I must have dropped thousands of dollars into this comic book store, but mostly buying Star Wars, fucking secondhand Star Wars toys that they bought from Target that I couldn't buy myself, and upmarked and shit. And I walk in there one day, and I'm not even fucking kidding, dude. Fucking what's his name? Who was the guy on the Jedi Council with the like wraparound tail? Anyways, they had an opened one, and they had it there, and I was like actually going to buy it. I pick it up. He's like, "Whoa, dude, come on, man, put that shit down. You don't just touch stuff." I'm like, I'm a fucking adult. I know how to handle stuff. And I'm just like, are you joking right now? He's like, I'm dead serious. And I was just like, man, I spent way too much money in this comic book store. I'm good. You know, like you could keep it.
Fair enough. I don't blame you. But yeah. I gotta be honest, man. Like, the trades are worth picking up if you're really into something. Like, the publisher's going through a little bit of trouble right now, so I'm not going to defend the publisher. But the content from the creators, the Invader Zim comics are fantastic. Like, I would own them just for all your kids. Like, this is the kind of humor you should be into, kid. You know,
yeah,
they're all fantastic. Like, it's probably the best consistent comic put out in the last 10 years. You know, because they got almost like 100 issues of this fucking thing, like 10, 12 volumes. Yeah, and they're all good.
Yeah.
So
I'm really mad I gave away the first issue of The Walking Dead to somebody I recommended the comic book to. Triple N says, did you know anything else about the Praetorian Guards in Mandalorian Season 3? I love them, But do you think there's a chance the source got Red Mandos confused for them? Hope not. I mean, you're presenting a hypothetical, and the hypothetical is always possible.
This is
So
the danger of your job, right? Like,
yeah, so it's like,
okay.
I guess, yeah, but I'm not saying that's the case. And I think those
Like
Mandos. Well, I think what we're going to have is Moff Gideon in his Mando with his Mando helmet on. I actually know we're going to have that. And then I think those Praetorians and the Red Guards thing, I think that's going to be like the start of it. So in a weird way, I kind of think these things might be having sex, and the offspring might be, you know what I mean, sort of the Praetorian Guards as we know them in episode 8, for instance. Like they may have their roots in, but there may be some canon thing that completely be like, oh, these were always on the planet Dick Job, you know, and then if they're all, yes, they were exiled.
Like...
They were exiled from Dick Butt and they went to Dick Job. So unless there's something like that, I'm gonna guess that's where this is going. That's what it seems like. That's how it seems like it's going. But also the big question
But what I would
I'm dying.
This isn't a jokey statement, like I'm being serious. Like this is what happens when people report Forlom on set because they see an alien or a droid that looks like Forlom, right? And they're like Forlom, and then you go, no, not Forlom. It's whatever that was.
Went down the wrong
one jack.
Now
you know what it was like to watch Kenobi
Lloyd.
with my wife, right there. Just keep coughing for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna, but anyways, it may be something like that. It may be something completely new, you know, for whatever it's worth. I have no idea what Santa just sent me something. Let's see what it is. So, okay. Somebody called Fulcrum Pod from Fulcrum Transmission says, rumor, Scarlett Johansson will be playing the role of Star Wars Rebels fan favorite character Price in Dave Filoni's upcoming Ahsoka Disney Plus series. Full story coming on Monday's episode.
This is that ScarJo rumor we've been hearing for years, right?
Is that I haven't really heard. I've never heard.
Oh yeah, for quite a while. Since the Feige announcement, I've been hearing this off and on, back and forth.
Yeah. So once again, I don't know anything about the you know, and about who this is or anything like that, so I can't like endorse it or whatever. But yeah,
if I remember right, when she was doing press junket for the Black Widow movie, there was a little bit of that going on. She like had insinuated.
Isn't Price dead by then?
I don't know. Everyone would figure she should have just been Mara Jade, you know. But we know how we know how George feels about that. I'm purposefully not answering his phone call right now. And you say Mara Jade, he has to like the bat signal, just leap up from his chair. His beard flies off his face. He puts it back on, runs over to the phone and calls me, and I will not let him in.
Terrified of what her punishment would be, Price mounted a desperate attack on the Lothal resistance base. Her attack failed, however. She was taken captive. Price was killed during the final battle between the Rebellion and Thrawn's forces. I don't think that makes any sense at all.
In a book or in a cartoon?
Well, she died during Star Wars Rebels on screen. And so she dies in the cartoon, and the series takes place after. And the only you know, how many flashbacks would they really do? And why would they do one with Price? Why would she really? I don't think she matters. I can't draw the connection about why she would matter. Excuse me. I can't figure it out. So I don't know. And it sounds like it would be a small role. Would you really get Scarlett Johansson to play a very small role? Like a really, really small role?
You got Daniel Craig to play a Stormtrooper, right?
That's different. Totally different.
Yeah, that's what they tell him to keep him out of royalties, but to be honest.
Yeah.
I know that butt anywhere, Jason.
Well, she's Price is supposed to look like Cate Blanchett from Indiana Jones 4. Just basically that character. basically. So yeah, I don't know. I personally don't buy it, but you know, not saying it's true or not. I don't know anything about it, but would be kind of weird today if they didn't tell me about Scarlett Johansson. Gotta say, but you told me fucking Darth Vader.
Like, well, you didn't ask about Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
If I come up with a cartoon character for your source, like I have no idea who your source, because you got tons of them, but if I just make a fake one, would they get mad? Should I avoid that? If I just want to make up like a fake source, you know, like, or should we make QAnon Crunch our fucking source? But see, I feel like QAnon Crunch is better for just making fun of those dudes. But
how about a horse? A source horse with the force.
I like it.
Yeah. Horse meat. We got some horse meat for you. Like, oh, that means scoops. I thought scoops sounded too much like ice cream and just too palatable, so now we're calling it horse meat.
That took a dark turn, Jason.
It did.
Dark turn.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I think we're gonna call it a show today. I think we've done it. I mean, we'll have to wait until Monday to find out if Scarlett Johansson's on the show.
Can't do the voice. So
yeah, I really don't buy that one for the record. I mean, once again, that doesn't make sense to me. Tyron says if she died 0 BBY, which I always thought the end of Rebels was, still 1 to 2 years before the Battle of Yavin. Yeah, but I mean, it's like we're like the thrust of the story is like years after Return of the Jedi, right? So it's like none of that really. I don't know. It just once again, I feel like their checkboxing fandom is checkboxing Rebels characters who they want to see in live action. At the end of the day, and there's enough already. You know, that's what I say. Maximus says she comes out in the Thrawn trilogy books, but they give her a whole backstory. All right. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if you were going to put Scarlett Johansson into Star Wars, it would be a character with some trajectory who would matter with a legacy where she could play the role multiple times and not just be like back in time, you know, or something like that. Yeah. And
she played a computer voice in her. She could be Mara Jade.
It would be cool if like they did like a whole thing with her as Mara Jade. It went on for like, you know, 45 episodes. At the end, her and Luke finally do it. And then he goes, I like my sister more. My sister kissed better.
That's what I was thinking about for Andor. My sister more. Dude, Ixnay on the sisters, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Sidious Rising says, Jason, did you see the Internet Movie Database has a stunt double who specializes in martial arts listed for Christopher Lloyd? Maybe just a stand-in? What do you mean? No, well, Christopher Lloyd's not doing the action stuff.
He can't do his own martial arts.
Yeah, at his age.
Do the voice, man? I gotta work on that one.
I don't know if I can do it. I think it's random.
It almost killed you is the problem.
Great. Yeah, I can. I just coughed my brains out, so probably not gonna work.
I tried to do whoosh. I can't do it. So I gotta work on that one. But he was a Klingon once in Star Trek 3, and I couldn't take my eyes off it because it was so fucking weird. When I was a kid, I was like, Dave, do you want wushu or MMA?
I can't do it. So stupid. Maria says, oh my fucking God, chapter 5 of Shadow of the Sith book is incredible. Lucasfilm, if you ever see this, turn this book into a fucking show.
No, it's already done. It's already done. Because the book is canon.
You keep saying that. Done. They're doing the book, the novel, and the comic. They can do
they're done. They're done.
But it does. I'm
just like Crimson Dawn. You'll never see them again because they did them in the books and the comics.
I do think at the end of the day that the actual true difference is if you want to get a creative involved, it has to be Lucasfilm has to launch that endeavor. Lucasfilm has to say, we want to do Shadow of the Sith as a miniseries. And then they got to be like, who wants to make Shadow of the Sith as a movie, as a miniseries? then it would happen. But otherwise you're going to have like somebody who comes in there like, oh, I have my idea. It's called, Stormtrooper Dads.
They all invite them to dinner like at Clue, right?
Yeah.
Kathy sits down like Tim Curry. Now, who wants to make Shadows of the Sith? And everyone's like like when they were paused eating their soup.
Yeah. Santa, what do you think about that rumor? Are you buying that now that you're here? Thank you for coming by. I missed your show today because I was in Manhattan, but I'm glad you're able to make it, bud. But you buying it, dude? If you're busy, you don't have to answer. But Arya says Game of Thrones was a book and they turned it into a show. That turned out great. Can't Lucasfilm do the same thing? No, Lucasfilm can. I'm not saying that they can't. They completely can. I do think at some point in the future we will see that kind of stuff happening.
It turned out great. Just think about it, Arya. Like I enjoy all 8 seasons. But how it ended in the end did not turn out great. To the point when the Game of Thrones guys were announced coming to Star Wars, the shitstorm. The only thing that could have set off the internet worse than that would have been if Zack Snyder was confirmed and fucking get his own Star Wars trilogy.
That was my whole thing. Is I was like, these guys are adapting like this book they're a fan of, like almost like it's like a passion project in a way. And I was like, I don't know how that translates to new entire things where everything is, referential to a lived-in universe, but new. But I think if there's ever a book that's like a breakout hit, when I say a breakout hit, I mean like a real bestseller, not like, it was #1 because nothing came out at bookstores that week kind of thing. I mean like a real true fucking like book. I think that will be the best opportunity for something like that to happen, if or something equivalent to Heir to the Empire. But right now the biggest equivalent is like Lost Stars and stuff, and they haven't jumped at that. Oh, hey,
Jason, I have a scoop.
All right,
Charlotte Johansson is gonna play Ayn Rand in the new Star Wars trilogy. Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Ayn Rand, Jason.
How's that deathbed socialism gonna treat Anne in this story?
I don't read, Jason.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know, man. I play BioShock. That's how I know that shit. I read The Fountainhead. So the sad part about The Fountainhead was I was like, this happened to me. I was the guy who was creating original shit, and they would just take the ideas and convert them into the janky bullshit, and the other dude got all the praise. That actually happened to me. I didn't know how fucking evil she was at the time.
Yeah.
It's like, that does happen, though,
Eric Din says, what happens when Williams croaks? Will they still need approval? That sounds like crap. I'm going to guess in reality, no. I mean, if he owned it,
they got to get a Ouija board.
They would have to ask. They would have to get approval from the estate,
right?
But I have to say, I think it's a courtesy, professional courtesy,
professional courtesy. They don't want to piss off George Williams or George Williams,
John Williams. Yeah, they want to keep a good working relationship with them, I think, and then after he retires, they'll probably be like, well, do whatever you want. You could do 100% do a 12-episode show with 15 minutes per episode with this book alone. No, you couldn't, Arya. I mean this respectfully, but I mean at the end of the day, you would have that book would need to be totally adapted and streamlined. Like if you took that story into 12 parts, some things would not make episodes. There would just be people on like one location, one set, and it would be boring. But I am still with you though. That they could adapt that book into probably a 6-part show.
It's why it's so important, Jason, that these things aren't canon. They're places for people to be creative, and they have their own canon. I just think that's the most important, because then you can do this adaptation.
But that's not how the business worked. That's just not how the business.
It's the only business doing that, and it's stupid.
Well, no, because before all of this stuff happened, Star Wars in print was fucking dead. And the number one reason that it was dead is none of this shit matters. None of this shit connects to the movies I'm seeing, to the cartoons coming out. None of this shit matters to any of the Clone Wars. None of the. That's exactly what happened. That is 100.
They were making boring comics. The fact that I only fucking like one of them, and they're still making boring comics.
The final Star Wars books that they were doing were selling like in it was very bad. It was
they just conjured up this scheme to sell 100 different covers, Jason. Like that's it. They know the.
You're looking at it from the actual money for them has been in novels. And I'm mostly talking about novels. I don't know a lot about the comic book business, but I'm talking about the actual novels themselves. And getting that that 25 to 30 bucks per copy of that book sold is serious money. The deal that they have for that stuff is pretty good for them. And then so anyways, that is the whole issue though. Star Wars fans hated the fact that what they were seeing on screen was irrelevant to what they were reading on the page. And it's a reason why I was out too.
Do you really think if it had been considered canon, that would have stopped them from making a story in which Chewbacca got blown up on a moon in the Yuvon Zong? Like it wouldn't have stopped them from making those creative decisions. Then you would have had to live with that being canon. Like, no. Jason, they would have still made those decisions. Like the fact that it's canon doesn't mean they're not going to make bad decisions for books. I got this plenty of books that are pretty fucking dumb.
Lucas was part of making that decision. Because in episode 3, they were going to start killing characters. And he was like, and then they had a Chewbacca problem in the novels because the motherfucker can't talk. You know?
Sure, but what I'm just saying is making it canon would not have stopped that from happening.
They would never let them kill. They would never let them kill Chewbacca in a novel. If the books were canon, though, that's the big
George
difference.
Would have because George was part of that decision.
No, but it wasn't canon.
Yeah, but at the time he figured. I'm telling you, if it were canon, he still would have made.
It just wasn't though. I'm just letting you know, it just wasn't. That's just not. If George wanted to go and put Chewbacca in something after that in live action screen, he would have just done it because none of that was George
excuse. For making their excuse at the time for making the comics and the books all canon was, well, we wanted to bring Chewbacca back, and in the books he's dead. Like
that wasn't their whole excuse.
They used that excuse. They used that excuse.
No, they ended up what they did was they talked about how when they went to go and to continue the story, they killed Chewbacca in those things, and Chewbacca's alive in episode 7. That's what they were. That was a. None of that stuff was going to. It was going to be another reset either way you cut it.
Making creatively bankrupt decisions has nothing to do with whether something's canon or not. Like I'm just saying, it doesn't stop them from making
creative bankrupt decisions has nothing to do with why shit's canon or not.
Well, you got a book and it's never going to be a TV show, and I'm going to tell you why, because it's a fucking book and they're not going to do it. That's
probably not. But I think if one of those books it connects strong enough, then it will. But it's just like right now.
The Knights of the Old Republic is the thing.
What was the scoop we had today? What was the scoop we had today, Rob?
I don't remember, Jason. I say a lot.
They're probably redoing Star Wars Rebels in live action for a whole sequence.
Yeah, that's different though, man. That's Filoni's behind. Filoni.
It's the same thing, dude. It's the same.
Nothing has connected bigger outside of the movies than Knights of the Old Republic with the mass community. I'm not saying it's my favorite thing in the world, but. And they still haven't done that.
And not saying not to like. I don't actually know what Knights of the Old Republic's like sales are and stuff like that. Like they don't ever talk about that shit.
We're talking about like sales, and I'm talking about connecting with the public. It's getting a giant reboot.
Reputation though, and what people will spend money on aren't necessarily always the same things with Star Wars as we've seen. That's where it's like complicated for them.
I mean, they keep using his designs for Revan. They put the droid and a variation of that droid in Rogue One. Like Kylo Ren looks like Revan, and Reva's a play on the name Revan. They're making it like they know. And every time they get asked at every celebration, when are you going to do Knights of the Republic? No one's going. I mean, look, go and bug them. To make the books more of a canon. The whole point to Bloodlines should be film canon, but it's not. So like. It's not. You got to really do headcanon to make it work.
But that's what when people talk about this discussion, that's why the story group exists. That's a main reason why. is
I
because
thought that was
when
just
you,
so Pablo can go yell at people on Twitter.
no, it's so when somebody is pitching a story, one of its functions, I believe, is that what does this mean if we do the story? How does the story interface with what we're saying Star Wars is? Because one of the big things about doing everything canon and having the story group, though, is so that internally there is some definition of what Star Wars is. Otherwise, every time a filmmaker comes in, it would just be like, oh, it's Batman and Robin. Now it's the Dark Knight. Now it's, Adam West. Like Star Wars needs, Batman in this instance needs to be consistent, is as consistent as they can make it.
Do you feel they've achieved that? Do you think the consistency of tone between Book of Boba Fett and Mando is consistent? I'm not saying I think it is or isn't. I'm just curious. Do you think they're achieving that consistency?
Well, in terms of canon and what things are and how the universe works, yes. Like in terms of how those things talk to each other and all that stuff, in terms of things, lines in books, stuff in Aftermath. Like Aftermath introduces Cobb Vanth. We saw Cobb Vanth's moment in Aftermath, and we saw it in Mandalorian, and it was consistent. It was
but
not.
Aftermath was made to find out why they didn't make a fucking movie. Like, it's 35 years, cover what happened,
But
and he visually just looks like the drawing of Boba Fett. So
yeah,
honest.
but we have an instance of a book coming
the
out.
Topps trading cards are
we have. I mean, Cobb Vanth is our instance of, once again, I don't like the books. I'm defending the concept, not the execution. You know what I mean? Not entirely.
Yes, I am. I am saying that the KOTOR is a property with the most reach outside the. It got its own MMO that's still being played. Tyrant, I'm sorry. What other fucking Star Wars game is still being spent money on with billions of dollars every fucking year? Like, it's not Battlefront.
Star Wars Galaxy in this heart.
In this place, I mean, seriously, like, what are you talking about? Like, it's the thing that hit the zeitgeist, like.
Yeah. But let's look at the whole thing though. We might have Ahsoka versus Vader. We have Cobb Vanth. We have seen moments where that stuff has mattered to the live action universe and has been honored. At least with Cobb, it pretty much was. I don't know if there's anything that anybody had any but I read that book. I read Aftermath. I saw it on screen. I was like, yeah, cool. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. I mean, but the thing about it is, most of it doesn't matter. A lot of it's not very good, and then it mostly becomes saddening to me when something really important happens in the cartoons or in the books, because it makes it harder to get to live action. Right. I hate that Darth Maul was killed in Star Wars Rebels, and they couldn't have Maul become a crime lord and then stole Princess Leia and then had him kill Maul for the final time in this Kenobi series, and then brought it in season 2 with Darth Vader. Like, I would have been okay with that. All I'm
saying, and I agree with you, which is why all I'm saying is they should just toe the line that it's canon unless the films redo it, then it's new canon.
Yeah.
And that's just something that people can just accept. Like, they can accept that okay, it's canon until, they do it in live action, and then we may need to, wiggle it a little bit to make it work, to fit in the mold. Because,
that's what they've done. That's to some extent what they've had to do. But they don't have that
honest conversation. They just lie, and they go, no, it's all canon. Like, dude, then how is Black Chrysanthemum and Boba Fett not having a whole conversation? I mean, they're acting like they never met one another.
Yeah.
And these are the same people that put Cobb Vanth in the same series. So, the same story group. That's why I'm telling you,
I'm not saying their idea is not without sin. I'm not saying that it's perfection. I'm not saying it's always been that good.
Ahsoka don't count because it was just in Mando. But if I ask who Darth Malik is or Ezra and ask them what Knights of the Old Republic is, I'm gonna win, Tyrant. So it's not even close.
I don't know, man. I feel like if I ask any member of my family who Darth Malik is, nobody would know who that is.
I said Knights of the Old Republic. If you say Knights, they're gonna know it.
Even that. I think most people wouldn't know it.
I could be wrong, but I'm saying who's gonna more? They're gonna know. Okay, whatever. I'm wrong. What do I know? No one goes, man. Every time a Star Wars Celebration, please make a live action Rebels. Please make a live action Rebels.
do
please.
that.
They say Knights of the Old Republic.
No,
In which order do they do
Oh,
it?
we just saw it 5 minutes ago.
Well, after you got Ahsoka, now they do.
Scarlett
Now they do. Because now that you got Ahsoka and Filoni's doing the whole thing, then it's going to happen. But if you had to ask, before Ahsoka appears in Mando, everyone was saying Knights of the Republic since 2001. When are they going to do that? Like,
Revenge Guy says, only Star Wars fans know this stupid shit. I kind of that's kind of where I'm coming at it from too. I kind of think that's mostly true. That like average people, they just go like, oh, that's a Jedi guy, and then was that story fun for me? I think that's all they care about. That's why I think they went and saw Boba Fett and didn't have a lot of big problems. That's why I think.
Hey, look, the average Lucasfilm story person didn't even know, because when my homeboy fucking put up his drawing of Darth Revan on Instagram, and then he was working on Episode 7 merch, they fucking pulled him into a room and said why he was leaking fucking Episode 7 art onto fucking Instagram, and he's like, it's Darth Revan.
Yeah.
Like, you know? So, like, they don't even know the difference. Like, so weird.
I think that they would be wise to every now and then even think like, there's this thing that we want to do on screen. Let's put it in a book first and then put it on screen. And then people will love it. Because that's where I think their methodology is sort of fucked or wrong, is that people love seeing something they read in a book put to screen, and they love hating it too. And they're going to hate it anyways. So in certain ways, there are times when I think they would be wise to go and like, you know what I mean? To like do something and go, you know what? You guys like that book so much, but to have been smart enough to plan it there first. You know what I mean? Like to have like worked it out and like kind of decided. And also at times when things are really important, just to know that it's like, it's super important that it like things be cinematic, that things that are happening in this show or in this novel or this comic is cinematic enough that when we go to put it in live action, it will matter, you know? Like that's my whole thing with the Obi-Wan Kenobi Maul thing is it is a good moment. It truly by itself in a vacuum is fucking cool. It's fine. But would I have rather have seen Ewan McGregor and Ray Park do that moment in live action? And they also made it in Rebels where it's like 3 moves. They made them like masters, and they do the 3 moves, and then Maul's dead. And like, whoa, it's like pretty cool in a samurai movie or some shit, you know, like some martial arts movie you were watching. But in this instance right there, now they also made it where if they ever do that moment in live action, they really have to keep it to those 3 moves or whatever it is. You know what I mean? They can't really do it. But I also think that
if I were in charge, I'd be like, sorry guys, we changed the plan.
Yeah.
I just come out and tell everyone, oh well, you know, Dark Tyrant hates this, but I'm letting y'all know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm changing my address so you can't come get me. But Tyrant's gonna be up a shit creek because I'm changing all this shit.
Yeah. Special
no more
edition
canon. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll go and then just change this the moment in Rebels and be like, we special edition it. But
special edition universe. It's gonna be the SEU. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, SEU.
Yeah.
That's right.
True.
I don't care if I'm wrong. I'll find a way to make it right, kids. I've gotten pretty lucky in my career. You never know. I might be in charge of shit one day over there, and you're gonna be like, oh no.
Well, you know the easiest way to stop legitimate leaks, and that would be to hire Jason Ward Investment Bulletin to help out or surround the office. You know?
Oh, you know me. I hook up my friends. But I wouldn't let Tyrant into Galaxy's Edge. That'd be the one thing I'd. He can go to Pixar Land, but not
Pixar Land.
You can go to Avatar Land, but you can't go to Galaxy's Edge. That's the
right.
rule.
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
That sounds fair. But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, if you're like somebody who just like likes everything and has a good time with it all, I honestly think that's probably a healthy way to usually be with shit that doesn't really matter that much. If you're not like, you know, in the creative industry or creative in some way on your own, and you're just like, I like reading some space books when I'm not at work. I can read some space books while I'm on my lunch break or whatever. Like, I think that's like completely cool. And that like, and those people are probably having like the best time with it all.
This guy, This guy right here, and let me explain to you why. And I can give you a real Star Wars example. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you a book that is 100% not canon and just came out. It's the one that they've said is not canon. It's no way, shape, or form Star Wars canon, but it's a Star Wars novel. Star Wars Ronin. Ronin's the best fucking thing I've read in a long time. It's 100% not canon. It doesn't line up with any of the ways you know of the Force, tying into all the cartoons and the fucking comics and the books and the whatever. Got nothing to do with it. But it's fucking dope.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, what I'm saying is, it's got an amazing piece of animation. It's got an amazing fucking novel. The audio novel's brilliant. And it's not bound by, and it didn't need, and if they adapted it into its own thing, it's out of canon, and it's working. And all I'm saying is, tying everything to canon doesn't guarantee you get the best product possible. Because
No,
there's
that's
so
not
many
at all.
fucking rules, and then if you don't hit one of those rules, because they have to at some point bend. Like, they didn't want in the Boba Fett show to have a whole conversation between a Wookiee and Boba Fett about their history in a gladiator pit, I guess, right?
Which
really
would have been actually
general.
good, I think. No, I think
I agree with you. I agree with you, but they didn't want to do it. Okay,
Yeah,
they didn't want to do
yeah.
it, and so when they choose not to do it, then everyone's sitting there going, "But I invested all this time and money into this stuff. Then what's the point?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Twi'lek, what's her name, Flashdance, is like black chrysanthemum, and it's like all like
Yeah,
talking him up. He could have been like, I saw him.
the Beal.
You know what I mean? Though they could have
Yeah.
just done that. They could have just done that. But yeah, instead, everything is. I don't know. I think they should be less loosey goosey with the main characters. Like,
Fair enough. Yeah,
Black-
I would agree. But everything, man, it's just so weird, dude. Like, it's so weird. I
Yeah.
get, like, the Kenobi book comes out. I don't want a bunch of fake Kenobi books because I remember those Dark Horse Clone Wars comics or Jedi comics where it's or how about this? Rogue Planet. You don't want that as canon.
no.
You know?
When those first round of Clone Wars comic books came out during the series, everyone was like, "Oh, cool! Is it canon?" No. And then the stuff that you were reading was like literally like contradictory to what you were seeing in the week's episode at times.
But you know what sold
was
incredibly
annoying.
well, won some awards, and everyone loved was when they adapted the unused script, the Star Wars, the last thing Darth Vader
that was a
did.
great idea. I think it's fine for them to create new Legends content if they have a story that doesn't fit
That's
into
what
things.
I'm
That's
asking.
fine. That's
Like,
fine.
why isn't there a Jawa's Adventures comic? Like, my wife legitimately
Well,
laughed at all
that could
the
still be
Jawas.
canon. That could still
Huh?
be canon, though.
But man, they're on this rule that I don't understand. Just don't
Yeah.
understand it.
Johnny says KOTOR is more popular. Rebels has fans who are the equivalent of anime weebs, and they seem to populate social media at a higher rate. Oh, I'm not gonna call them weebs, and the video game guys are somehow fucking. Oh, those are real
I'm a
men
game
now.
guy.
I know. That's
What's a
why.
weeb?
That's what I'm talking about. No, it's like weebs are like in anime are people who like want to be Japanese, like and like eat like top ramen. Because everything's Japanese to them. I think that's what a weeb is.
They do know ramen didn't originate in Japan, right?
I have no. I'm making a joke about that. They're basically. Okay. I'm saying it's your equivalent of white boy rappers, but for anime with Japan. That's what I'm gonna.
I guess that's me. I guess.
But
watch anime, eat ramen.
Well, the one thing Revenge Guy says you're a weeb, Rob. The one thing that I would well, no, I mean, KOTOR sold a lot of copies of that game, though, and I don't know. Let me just like look it up just to try to like get a feel for it. How many copies did KOTOR sell? Let's just see if we could get a number by some chance. So worldwide, sales reached 600,000 copies by October. That was for 2006. 1.3. Okay, so
sold
1.3 million copies and earned 44 million in July of 2006. So it sold 1.3 million copies in its heyday.
Xbox. Yeah,
in its
on Xbox, which at the time you got to understand.
I'll double it.
Anything over 500,000 at that time in the video game world.
That's not where I'm taking this though. I don't care about that. I care about exposure.
Yeah.
Star Wars Rebels was getting more weekly views than that game sold in its
Okay,
heyday
great.
moment.
Whatever. Fine. Star Wars Rebels is the king of everything. What
It
do I
has
know?
nothing to
All
do
right.
with quality.
All right.
You're
You
making
win.
a quality. No,
No,
it
I'm not
has to
saying.
do
I'm
with
saying
Johnny's
what
comment.
hit the zeitgeist more, Rebels or fucking Knights of the Republic. You're right, Jason, and Tyrant's right. I'm wrong. What was I
No, it
thinking?
has to do with the fact that KOTOR. Here's the fucking truth.
Okay.
No,
Friends who literally upended their whole careers to go work on the MMO when it was
I
announced. Like they
played it,
went
dude. I'm talking about exposure here, and that's what fucking matters in terms of
right.
what we're talking about, though.
Well, there you go.
So what I'm saying though is that he's saying KOTOR is more popular than Rebels. At the end of the day, just not true. It has more power with the people who run discourse. The fucking dude or editor, guy or girl, who runs IGN probably loves KOTOR a hell of a lot more. So when they write anything about Star Wars, they're gonna suck its dick. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's not a value judgment though. It's just about what is the power of these characters in the consciousness, because that is the problem that KOTOR has. Is I'm sorry, I don't think most people know who Revan really truly is. And past Revan though, it doesn't have enough characters, I think, who truly sell it, like by itself. Like, okay, like guys, we're gonna do KOTOR spin-off stuff, and you got Revan, and you got Revan, and you got Revan. Like, I'm just trying to talk about like what the actual power of it is as an IP itself. And I don't think it's as much as the hardcore people like us think that it is. I think that's why they haven't made that movie yet. I think if it was, they would have made that movie. They would have made that series.
I think they haven't made the movie because they're too chicken shit to make any movie right now. They're so afraid of making movies after Solo. Jason,
no.
They wouldn't make Kenobi a movie.
They're not so afraid of movies.
They were afraid.
No, that's not what happened. It's not fear. We're scared. We don't know what to do. That's not what it is. It's that they made too many movies at one time. I mean, that was their fucking problem. And then they went on and did every project that they had still came out. And I gotta say, I think it's more. I would be more afraid of making Boba Fett or Obi-Wan Kenobi over KOTOR. KOTOR, you could almost do whatever you want with.
Sure.
Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you can't do shit with. Those are, I think, I don't agree with it necessarily, but I think it's a braver. I think the risk versus reward is much better on KOTOR. I think it's braver to go the route that they did. I think it's, but in some ways it comes down to brand recognition, which isn't that safe. It's really mixed. I don't know, man. I just I think KOTOR, if they ever do it, I think that like I said, I think that it's the powers that be who control the discourse around nerd shit. I'll love it. I think it'll get tons of coverage if they did it. I think it would be completely wise. It would be a slam dunk in certain ways, but at the same time, like what they have there, what happens in KOTOR, like there's not a lot of originality in KOTOR. It's referential designs. And then the main story is just like those beats. When you take those beats and then you put them into live action through a director, I don't know if it's gonna fucking.
You just described the entire episode 7, 8, 9, Jason. But all right. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
Rebels was totally original. I did not see graffiti Mandalorians on my bingo card for that one, so you got me there.
Right. What I'm trying to say is that they're KOTOR doesn't offer anything that wasn't already in Star Wars. And it has one character who actually like connects. And so I don't think it's, if we were to carve Star Wars up into a bunch of mini brands, it has the era thing going for it. But what else does it really have going for it? Are the
it's
designs
no High
better?
Republic, right, Jason? That's all I gotta say.
We haven't seen Acolyte yet, so I don't know. I mean, no, that's the honest truth.
No,
I haven't seen
about the novels and the comics.
Well, if we're gonna just fish for like, I mean, I could go pick up any one of the 15 Star Wars, the Old Republic novels that are not very good, and then use that as my evidence for why they shouldn't do it too. I mean, you know, and for the record, I'm just saying that, like, I don't think KOTOR is that small. I don't think it's as tiny. I don't think it's really, really tiny, but I don't think it's anywhere as powerful or as pervasive, or as prominent as we would think being inside the culture. And Diana just told me, oh no, it wasn't Diana. It was Johnny says, Weebs isn't derogatory. He just means rabid fans. So, and then he goes on to say, KOTOR would have to be seriously reworked to be a TV movie show. Then fans would be mad. They changed it. It's a no-win situation. That's my take as well, James. And I also don't think that
making any Star Wars is almost a no-win situation.
Yeah, I think how I think they would have to do it is they would have to do Revan's story, because it's really like the main thing of the whole thing. And it's referential at the same time, so it wouldn't be anything necessarily new, but they would have to go and tell that and then start making new content off of it. They'd have to launch from there, not having Revan be this thing that runs throughout it. But
all I know, man, is if Warner Brothers / DC / whoever the fuck owns them now, Discovery, laid that down, that same law down, you wouldn't get the Batman.
Yeah.
But
I will also say that I think the same, and we would have the same. I had the same faith and feeling about a Halo series being good that I would a KOTOR series be good.
Yeah, but the people who made the Halo series didn't even care about the game. So when you start off with that fucking premise, then you end up in a shit creek. So, it's just like, hey, soulless idiots could have made the Lego movie as well. All right.
I feel like KOTOR's soulless, though.
I know.
I've never connected with it. Well, yeah, I've never. I liked the MMO a lot better. I thought
that's how I feel about Fortnite, but I'm in the minority, Jason, as well as you are with KOTOR.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You never. But it got an MMO because
you never even played Fortnite. That's not unfair. You're just being angry now.
I played it.
You didn't play it. You played it.
Yeah.
Who'd you
I was
play
big.
As?
Huh?
Were you Jonesy? Were you Jonesy, or were you Fish Day?
Huh?
I'm a Fish Day.
I've never played it. You got me. You got me in a lie. See, Jason, I can't lie. Like, what do you folks want? You want a guy who just comes over here telling everybody, Jason, I have to do the Santa voice. Everything's great. I love everything. Like, come on.
Johnny, you're gonna play Fortnite with us tonight, and you're gonna have fun. Enough. KOTOR fans are more passionate, verbose than Rebels fans, says Iodine74. Yeah. I think the KOTOR fans are real. Like, I'm not fucking denying that. I'm not saying that they're not crazy. They're crazy. But that's also why it's just like it's destined to turn on them. It's destined to, you know what I mean? If they go and they do it, it's just like, if you don't adapt something 100%, then people are going to be mad. And you can't adapt a video game 100% for the most part. Today, things are more cinematic than they were in 2002. But especially a role-playing game that's like, 40 hours. I don't know how hours long, and trying to take all of that and get the same depth and stuff.
Which is why they will never adapt Shadows of the Sith.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But that's why I want them to do an anthology series of moments. Little moments.
I'm always for anthology series. The problem is Hollywood hates them.
Yeah. I like them. Yeah. That's why Clone Wars I still think will probably always be the best Star Wars cartoon, because it was an anthology series. It was just able to go to the next passionate idea, for better or worse, though. You know what I mean? Like, when Clone Wars didn't work, I was still like, I respect the endeavor. I was always like, I saw what you're trying to. Oh, you were trying to do a 1940s Sam Spade detective kind of guy in Star Wars. Don't really like it, but I respect the endeavor. You know what I mean? And like, but when we have like Boba Fett, like moving into Boba Fett, that's where you're like, well, okay. But anyways, that's always my go-to. I'm going to beat it up. Skanky says KOTOR is a good game, but I agree with Jason, because after playing the game, I didn't feel why everyone was hyping it that much. Because originally, when it came out, everyone was mad at George Lucas because Episode 1 didn't look like Return of the Jedi. And they just hated every single thing about that and how it was. And it became like a whole, like, it was like sort of the birth of remember Maddox, the best page on the internet? That was the biggest fucking website when KOTOR came out. That was dudes in 2002. And so it just became like, oh, you got, sports teams. Oh, you like that? Well, this is my thing. And but I don't think it's an awful game. I don't think it's an awful game though. I think it's a good, I thought it was a good game. Once again, I just found like, oh, you kind of redrew Star Destroyers. You kind of like, and like,
I wanted Final Fantasy Star Wars.
Yeah.
The whole reason that game happened was because of Final Fantasy VII. And the minute Final Fantasy VII came out, the internet chatter from the friends, from the magazines to the internet, whatever, was like, from the Star Wars fans, was, when are we getting Square to make a Star Wars game? We want Final Fantasy Star Wars. And then BioWare made that. I wanted what you see in Visions, but as a turn-based RPG. I want the crazy hair, I want the over-the-top special effects, I want the weeb, I guess the weeb shit, right, Johnny?
No, but they would still do that. Like they're not so beholden to canon that they wouldn't do that. Like that new Star Wars game that's like that Fortnite clone for cell phones and shit like that. I don't believe any of that's I don't think Hunters is canon. I think that's the same kind of shit. You know what I mean? They're just like, let's just make fun stuff. So I think it could happen. I think when it's like the big EA games though, that have like story to them, like deep story, that stuff is probably usually going to be canon if it can be. But I kind of think that the like AAA games like use so many like of the same artists and stuff who do the films and shit. And I think that it's a little bit more complicated, but I could see them doing that. The game that you're talking about, I could see that game happening still. I don't think it's going to happen soon, but I think I could see it happening. Tyrant, it's all good, bro. I'm sure deadline issues were there as well, says King Chris.
He's talking about, I think he's talking about KOTOR 2.
Yeah, KOTOR 2 is.
That's just good. A publisher cutting funds, bro. Like,
yeah,
halfway through development. It's the whole reason that Obsidian. That's why when Obsidian got bought by Microsoft, finally people were like, maybe they're finally going to, And to be honest, the Paths to Eternity or whatever game they kickstarted, I backed that one. Was pretty fun too. If you like those kind of top-down Baldur's Gate style stuff, they did a good job with that. So that's just one of those studios that didn't have its own IP to associate with. They just had a ton of talent, and so they were constantly running around fixing other games for the publisher, right? And for different publishers, and Toys for Bob filled that role for the longest time after Skylanders fell through. And other companies still do it, like CyberConnect does that. Platinum Games does a lot of that kind of like fill-in work. And it's a shame because when they make their own original shit, they're at their strongest, It's this other stuff that he is just this, oh, by the way, we're removing half your budget. Like the end of the last Starfighter, right? Supposed to have photoreal rocks, and they were like, no, we're cutting out a year's worth of budget. You get ice cream rocks now. Oh well, So.
Yeah. Iodine says, as a fan from 77 78, I just saw it as derivative of prequels from a design perspective and didn't pull me in as a non-gamer. Yeah,
I don't know what. Wait, KOTOR was derivative of the prequels?
From a design perspective, he says. Like that
I
was.
thought
that
it was
was
supposed to feel more like the OT than.
I think that's what they were going for, but then I think that they were also designing at the same time as the prequels. So I think that's probably what Iodine's feeling. Just a guess. There's such a difference between like making it look like Ralph McQuarrie, like Star Wars Rebels looks like the Ralph McQuarrie stuff, like the
is that he's talking about? I thought he was talking about KOTOR.
No, he's talking about no, he's talking about KOTOR.
Oh.
But I'm saying that I think like the pitch for it was supposed to sound like it was supposed to be more like what Rebels was, but in reality, it was really just macho prequels. It was like, what happens if we put like fucking armor all over Jedi? Like, yeah. And like that's why they did that shit in the Clone Wars too, because little boys at the time were saying that they wanted armor on their Jedis. It's just, yeah, is what it is. But I enjoyed the Old Republic like game itself with which is the sequel. They took the sequel to part 3 and part 4 and then converted them into the MMO. One day down the road, it would be cool if they fixed 2 and then pulled that stuff out and made them all into a single player game, because the actual like game itself is good. I mean, the Old Republic was a good game, and maybe it still is, but I mean, it was a good game. It just, but what happened to it? It immediately got all backlash to fuck by the KOTOR people. You want to know why? Because the KOTOR audience has its very roots in backlash. It was designed out of backlash to capitalize on backlash. So a part of me wonders if it can ever truly work. Like, will they ever do it?
You just described Attack of the Clones.
Well, it was there was some response to the backlash, but I'm saying it was meant, but the whole thing was, it was meant to sell Star Wars again to the backlash crowd. So I'm just like, I don't know, but that when that remake hits, that remake is going to be huge. And I think that's going to be, when you look at like, to be fair, like it sold 600,000 in its heyday. And then over the years, people played it and it didn't die, and they bought it on their phones or their iPad. So I'm not trying to say like that's the totality of it, just to be clear. But when that remake comes out, I think that's going to be the telling moment. If that remake fucking is a grand slam for them, I think that's when we might see that universe, that era of the universe, and with those designs and stuff like that, start to like really show themselves. But I'm really mixed on it, because they keep saying that's not canon, and which tells me that they've changed the game, they've changed gameplay design, all of the stuff, but they did not want to make it interface. Why the fuck not? That's what's so weird.
Scared.
You know what I mean? Though it's so weird.
It is weird, man. The one thing I've been consistent on this show is Lucasfilm is weird, and that has nothing to do with Disney. As that company was born weird, Yeah. It was named out by John I can't get into that, but forgot. But I mean, it's got magic in the title. I know never mind. But Lucasfilm in general, it's called Lucasfilm, but he's got nothing to do with this company. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's weird.
No, it's not because of the High Republic, because High Republic ends 50 years before Phantom Menace is about the 200 year before that mark. KOTOR's thousands of years before. I mean, like, just look at Earth. I mean, if you came to Earth from a spaceship during the Egyptian times, you'd be like, wow, look at planet Earth. This is planet Earth, isn't it? And then you go 500 years later, it's completely different. You go 1,000 years later, completely different. You just keep, it's civilizations rise and fall, and they're clearly making that there was a classical era for Star Wars, and so I don't know why they couldn't have made the Old Republic era, the Old Republic era, definitely an era of prosperity, but of like high war where people are wearing armor and shit.
It really just wanted to put Grecian temples, Greek temples.
You want to know what I think it is?
White robes on everybody, man. So
no, they're not really doing that though. That's just a couple of covers in the big picture
every
of
things. The comics.
What do you call it? I think it has more to do with the fact that there's more of a likelihood of characters like Bane being explored, and moving into that, which is not explicitly the Old Republic era, you know what I mean, but kind of has its roots there. And so in the George Lucas canon stuff, and it's supposed to be like a different thing. I also think that they might not like the idea of the Sith necessarily being a race, but I'm not completely sure if they jettison that concept entirely. I never liked that though, so that was stupid.
Oh, whatever the fucking people on Exegol are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, all of that stuff is rad though. Like all of like the cultists and shit like that, and the stuff like in the books that they just wrote in Shadow of the Sith. That shit's like all fucking rad. It's all.
That's what I'm not saying it didn't look cool. it came out of nowhere. Clearly there are Sith cultists. Gozerites, right?
Gozerites.
Yeah.
All right, I'm hungry.
J.K. Simmons was a Gozerite, right?
Eat me a pig's head. Eat me some Gozer head. Give me some trotters. Are trotters pig's feet?
All I know is one of my best friends for a while growing up was a guy whose last name was Trotter, and he was in a wheelchair. And I was like, dude, you're like we love video games, we love all the same stuff. And he goes, hey, one day I'm at his house, and he goes, check this out. And he takes his leg and he cuts it with a knife. Can't feel it. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing? I freaked out. Can't go. And then we stopped being friends after that.
5 months in, and I'm still in like chapter 35 of the High Republic book I bought on Audible. Yeah, I would just let that one go. Shadows of the Sith is pretty good though, dude. Gotta say, it's a much more entertaining read than those books. I'm not feeling them either. I tried Rocky Mountain oysters once when I was in Kansas. I did it. Gross. It was okay. Just fried food, fried ball sack. Revenge. I'm still 3 books in. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that the High Republic era right now, it's like they're setting up the political climate in those books, backstory in those books, but Acolyte's going to be what matters. Acolyte's going to be what really defines all of that shit, you know. And Acolyte's
live action trumps everything else.
It does, and it's years after that stuff. That's the other side of it too. Like it sounds like it's in the last third of that era, as opposed to all the books that are like, you know, hundreds of years before, or 100, 200 years before or something. So because I think didn't we say that? I think we ended up at 100 years before Phantom Menace is where that story is going to take place. So I think there's like 150 years before is when those books start. So how relevant can that stuff truly be to some extent, you know?
Right.
Tyler says The Rising Storm. That's the book. It's like my Audible Ambien every night. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta let it go. Just go like, you know what? This one's not for me. It sucks. But yeah, no, it's not for me either. Not so far anyways. Sorry. But hopefully, I mean, but once again, you know, it would be like saying, you know, in the 90s, Heir to the Empire is not for me because I read the Crystal Star. But so far they've all been Crystal Stars. That's been the problem.
The cover for Crystal Star was way better. So Drew Struzan cover.
That's true. That was the good one thing about buying a good book back then is you still had a nice cover to look at.
I may still have the high res assets for that cover, Jason, and his art looks brilliant.
That's going to be good for your back tattoo.
Up close, yeah.
Crystal Star back tattoo
all over my whole back, right?
And get Crystal Star though. Get the text written in like Old English. You know what I mean? So there you go. Anyways, we'll be back on Monday unless some big news breaks or something. You know, some. You are Heir to the Empire. Revenge
Heir
guy.
to the Empire.
Yeah. Wait, did I skip your question? Oh, okay. Last question. When will you squirt the scoop about the droid Kamalis playing in Ahsoka? Gotta be honest with you. He's playing Chopper. He's Chopper. I'm scooping it here. He's Chopper. All right, everyone. Thanks for being channel members and supporting the old show. Appreciate it a lot. And if you disagree with me or Rob, you're wrong. If you agree with one of us, you're wrong. Disagree with both of us.
We take opposites.
Right.
Man, there's not a whole lot of choices after we disagree, though, Jason.
MC Scat Cat. Opposites attract.
Okay.
All right.
My animation teacher helped animate that.
I know. I mean, it's all connected, dude.
Jerry Bryce. All right. We got to go.
All right, everyone. Have a good weekend. Don't get COVID.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.